Great, thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging in there. I know this has been like a marathon day, so we appreciate you hanging out toward the end of the day with us. Um, as mentioned, I'm Trisha with Easy E-mini Trade. I don't have anything to do with the trade order flow products. I purchased the products, love the product, um, and liked them so much that I was willing to do Maria's webinars for her. I was very impressed with the product after looking at many, many order flow and market profile programs out there. So that's how I got involved with Maria. She spent a lot of time developing and fine tuning and creating the product with many programmers. And so what you're going to see today are market profile and order flow tools. And there's lots of different ones out there, obviously, but um, like I said, I like these. They're for Ninja only, and if you're using some other software, you can still apply what I'm going to show you today to whatever you are using. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you the basics, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replay my charts for today on the NQ. So this way you can see the order flow coming in as best you can, as close to live as you can. Obviously, when we're looking at static charts, it's really easy to see on the order flow, oh yeah, well there I had more buyers and there I had more sellers. I should have did this or I should have did that. It's a lot different when it's coming in real time. So today we're going to go over the introduction to trading order flow and trading the value areas. And we will allow time at the end for questions. You can, hey Andrew, you guys can type questions in at any time. Maria is here as well. I'm just going to be doing the speaking today, and she'll answer via the keyboard, and then at the end we'll allow some time for questions, and if she would like to take the mic, she certainly can. So I don't know how familiar you are with market profile and value areas, so I'm just going to give you the basics. A market profile is a vertical graphic that displays price and time. And what this does, allows you to see at a glance the price levels that have the most concentrated volume. And the reason we care about that is where price has concentrated volume, it has a difficult time getting through. And I'm going to show you many examples of this in just a little while. And we can use the market profile based on VWAP, which is volume weighted average price, TPO, which is time price opportunity, or volume. And what I'm using is the VWAP option in the tools that I'm using from Maria from Trade Order Flow. And if you'd like more information on market profile, there's so much out there. You really need to read either Peter Stadelmeyer's book, or I like Mind Over Markets by James Dalton. You can actually go to the CME group, and obviously you can't click on that link, but you can actually go to the CME group and just do a search for market profile, and there's an interactive tutorial in there that you might find helpful as well. So this is usually what most people think of when they think of a market profile. And this is allowing us to see the different concentrations of volume at the different price levels. Over here you have price on the right here, and these are the different price levels, and this represents the volume traded at those levels. So this is the week without today. Today's not on here. At the end of today, when today closes, the market closes, then today will be. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and like I said, Thursday's not going to be on here, and this is part of Sunday. And you can see at these nodules here, these are high volume. And the reason we care about that is when you look at this volume profile here, we're going to get stuck where we have a lot of the higher concentration of volume. And then what will generally happen is when we break through that, prices then usually suck down to the next high concentration of volume. So we love to see these little openings here because we know that the likelihood is that if we can get through that, we're probably going to find our way down to the next high concentration. So this is what most people think of when they think of market profile. And this is going to give us the, on here on this chart that we're looking at, this is going to give us the fair value area for the week. So this is telling us that the majority of the volume for the week was traded inside this pink box that I've got here. Now this is a lot easier to look at as far as I'm concerned. Now this is my VWAP chart, and like I said, I have the option of TPO or volume, and I'm choosing the option for the volume weighted average price. And because I can see my fair value area is here in yellow. And then when you're looking at this chart here, I don't know how familiar you are, how you trade it, but there are a lot of different ways that you can trade using the value areas. And so what we're looking at, the fair value area in yellow, then right here where you see the end of the yellow, that's the high value area number 1, and then this next area here where we end with the blue is high value area number 2. When you look to the underside, we've got low value area number 1, and then we've got low value area number 2. So blue on either side takes us outside the fair value area. And the fair value area is the area where 70% of the volume took place. And this is today, this is early this morning, pre-market on the NQ. And what you're going to find is that when price trades to the high value area, that often it's going to either hold this first high value area and roll over, or it's going to break out and trade to the next high value area. And unless we have a strong trending market, usually what we can expect is it cycles, and price will generally go from one high, like the high value area here, 1, down to low value area 1, then back up to high value area 1, then back to low value area 1. And you'll see this when I do the chart replay for you. When price comes back inside the fair value area, this is the point of control, and this runs smack dab right in the middle of our fair value area. So when we're trading this, we're looking for price, like I said, to hold these levels outside the fair value area and roll over or break out, and the same on the low value area side.
Thank you very much.
Right here in this blue area here that I have the, I guess they're not stars, I guess they're like more like plus signs. This is telling me my high value area number 2 from the previous day. So this will mark the previous day's high value area 1 and 2, low value area 1 and 2. So just like you see what here, but it's going to mark it for yesterday. So this is a high value area from yesterday. So that would be this brownish line that you see here. That would be the equivalent of that from yesterday. And then this here is my high value area 1. Actually, I put 2 there, but it should be 1. So that would be this area right here from yesterday. Over here on the right, I have today's volume, and that's in color here. And so in the fair value area, and this is all interchangeable, you can change these colors to whatever your preference is. You're looking at my preferences. So in green here, this is the volume traded at the fair value area up until, this was 8:44 this morning. Now, obviously, as the day progresses, our volume is going to change, our fair value area is going to change, and so are our high and low value areas. They're constantly changing, they're dynamic. On the bottom here, oh, let me tell you this. This is the cumulative volume, and this is based on previous days' cumulative volume in these areas. So that's really helpful because we can easily look at a glance and see where, like for the last 5 days, however you have your chart set up, looking back 5 days, where we had majority of our volume. And you'll see more of that on my live charts. Now, I like to put a stochastic always on my chart. This has nothing to do with trading fair value areas or incorporating order flow into your trading, but I'm going to show you how I use it, and you can decide if it's something that you can add to your trading, no matter what you're trading. And the beauty of trading these value areas and order flow is that you can incorporate any setup that you're currently trading um, with these levels and with the order flow. And you can trade it on anything. This is the NQ. You can trade the E-minis. You can trade equities. You can trade whatever you like using these same software and same tools. So this, I wanted to show you because today wasn't a nice trending day. So I wanted to show you what a trending day looks like. Um, this was actually Friday. I wanted to show you something that had some decent movement here. Yellow area down here, this is that fair value area, and then this is outside that fair value area. So this would be the high value area number 1, high value area number 2. And when we have a strong trending market, now remember on the previous slide, I mentioned how we will typically go from one edge of the yellow area down to the next edge of the yellow area and just kind of meander back and forth. So that is what we see a lot unless we have a strong trending day. Then what we find is that price will trade outside the value areas and then retrace back. Come outside, retrace back. Come outside, and now here you don't know what it's going to do. Is it going to retrace back down to this level here or continue? And that's where order flow will come in. But basically on a trending day, you're always looking for pullbacks to your high value area here or here. So the way that we trade these value areas is we can take a break here for a buy outside this high value area into the blue. We could take a buy there. We can take a buy when we break outside the second high value area. I can take a short under the low value area here. I can short the previous level here from yesterday. I can short the low value area here, and I can short all these different levels. I can trade off these levels. Now, obviously, the question becomes, okay, yeah, you can do that, but how do you know that it's going to break out there? Or how do you know it's not there? How do you know that this point of control is going to hold? We can buy the bounces off of the point of control as well, or short the point of control. Generally, what you're going to find is anything that happens inside this yellow area can be a little more choppy, where we have a lot more areas where price is likely going to have a difficult time getting through. So order flow is going to be what helps us determine, well, should I take this rolling over as a short or should I take this as a breakout trade? So obviously, if we're going to take it as a breakout trade, we're looking for buyers coming in. If we're going to try to buy it here, or we're looking for sellers to come in if we're thinking it's going to roll over here. So I just showed you the market profile and I showed you the VWAP chart. And as mentioned, how do we know what to do in those levels? Well, adding order flow to the mix with trading the market profile value areas is a really great combination. I find it really amazing. I've been using it maybe now for a little over a year and a half. Let's see, August, September, yeah, about a year and a half now. And the reason is the market profile tells us where the value areas are, and these areas, as mentioned, are either going to hold, they're going to break out, or price is going to trade back to them. And order flow is going to tell us who's in control, the buyers or the sellers. So this is going to help us determine, whether we're going to be, trying to buy those breakouts or, take it rolling over in those value areas. So this is the order flow, and you have many different options of how you want to look at this. And as I said earlier, you're looking at how I like to look at it. So this is on a 5-minute chart. And what I forgot to mention was this is on an 8 range chart on the NQ. You can use anything you like. You can use a time-based chart, a tick chart. It's going to be the same because these levels are based on price. Okay, so use whatever you're comfortable with because it really doesn't matter. We're not waiting for a bar to close. We're just looking at taking these levels. Okay, so we don't have to wait for a bar to close. So this is a 5-minute chart, and the question I get all the time is, well, if you're looking at an 8 range chart, why are you going to use a 5-minute chart for your order flow? And the reason is that basically this gives us, in my opinion, a better bias. Now, I've tried them all. I've tried to go use the order flow as an 8 range, just like my entry chart, but it's just too much information coming in at one time. This basically, using this on a 5-minute chart, is giving us a bias as if we were looking at a 5-minute chart to be our anchor chart, basically. What is our 5-minute chart telling us to do? So we're looking at something a little larger. So this is a little better at determining a bias. And you can, of course, can use a 15-minute chart. Like I said, it's whatever you would like to do. And what you've got here on the right side of the bars are the buyers, and on the left side you've got the sellers. And just like your dome, this is read on a diagonal. And this is really light because, like I said, this is pre-market this morning, but I am going to do the chart replay, so you'll see some higher numbers coming in there. And the way that I've got my view on this is I've got my bid-ask showing as a histogram here. So at a glance, because when price is moving pretty fast and the orders are coming in, it's a little difficult to decipher each line price level by price level. So this, I can just look really quickly and say, okay, I had a bunch of sellers coming in here, none stepped up below, so chances are we might have a little bit of a difficult time getting through there. Or I can look here and I can see that I've got concentration of volume here at the point of control right here, but no sellers really stepping in under that. So that would tell me, hey, don't short that area yet. And that just comes with practice. And the beauty of the charts nowadays is that you have the availability of using market replay or chart replay and getting used to what you're looking at. Looking at the order flow does take a little bit of practice, but with time, it's invaluable. I was without it last week one day. I couldn't get my ninja charts to work, and I felt totally blind. It was crazy. Over here, I've got today's volume at the different price levels. And again, I can always see where I have the highest concentration. And we've got the price levels here as well. And this is all customizable as well. You can see as much or as little as you want. And so the green would be the buys and the red would be the sells. Down here, I've got the delta. And if you're not familiar with the delta is the difference between the buy orders and sell orders. So, and I'm just using really simple terminology, not trying to confuse anybody. So that's why I'm just saying buyers and sellers. But here, for example, you can see we have a negative 246. So what that's telling us is that on this 5-minute bar here, we had 246 more sells than we did buys. So obviously, when looking at this, if you're looking to take a short, you want to see a negative delta. Or it could be a positive delta, but obviously you want to see that number getting smaller if you're looking to take a short and you're showing a positive delta. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my charts up here, and I'm just going to close this for just a second. I'm just going to bring my charts up here, and then I'm going to start the replay. And this will make a lot more sense once you're seeing it coming in real time here. Well, real time during replay, how's that? But it's as close as you can get to a live market while we're doing this. And order flow webinars, and they always are using static charts. And like I said, it's really easy to see it after the fact. So this is going to show you what the order flow looks like as it's coming in. So this is, we're not open here yet. This is 9:26. Let me just speed this up till we get to 9:30 open here. So I'm going to speed this up like 20 times here, just get to 9:30. All right, so here we are. We're at the open. So this is 9:30, and you're looking at the order flow coming in here. And you can see down here at the delta. Now, this is also showing the volume and cumulative volume. So this is the volume up to this point in the day. This is the volume on this 5-minute bar. This is called the action bar, and this is more aggressive orders coming in. So I'm usually paying attention a lot to this, and this is the other bar that's forming at the same time. Now, I also have the point of control on here. So this is the same point of control here that you see right here on the 8 range chart. This is low value area number 1. You can see this little orangey ribbon here. That's this. And then you can see this brownish one here, and that is this. So you have all the same information on this chart here. Looking over here, you can see the volume coming in this area where we're hanging out, right at this low value area. So I don't do anything right off the open. I like price to figure out what direction that it wants to go before I, try to do anything. That's me personally. But somebody more aggressive might be looking here to say, okay, I'm breaking this low value area. I might try a short there, but at the moment you don't really see the sellers coming in. We're looking at the buyers. So I wouldn't be interested in trying to short that just yet for myself. Somebody more aggressive would just put the order in and be happy about it and just take what comes their way. Now you can see on my histogram here on my bid and ask bars, you can see here we have a higher concentration of buyers, here sellers, sellers. It's pretty much all over the place. And I find that the first 5-minute bar on the order flow, I don't usually pay a whole lot of attention to because we get that influx of volume coming in right off the open. So I always find that first bar a little bit misleading. So here, I have a couple things I can do here. If I have buyers coming in here, I can try to buy this area here because it's not going lower. And this is where the stochastic comes in handy. I've got divergence here. I've got lower lows on price while I've got a higher low on the stochastic. So that would be telling me I could probably take a bounce here. So when we saw the buyers coming in here, I could buy this. And what I would be looking at is I would be saying to myself, okay, if this can go, the next area I'm probably going to get stuck on is going to be this value area from yesterday. Then if I can get through there, then I'm looking at hitting possibly the point of control if it can go. We don't know yet that it wants to go. As far as I'm concerned right now, I have to look at this area here to my left that last held right here. So if you buy the low value area here with the buyers coming in, you can see we've got positive delta, then this would be the area, like I said, that I would be looking at possibly getting to, and then the next area, above me here at the point of control. Now I could buy, if I wasn't already in here, let's say this was still too early, I could buy the break of yesterday's value area here as long as I had buyers coming in. And so we have buyers coming in, but what would still concern me would still be this area right here that last held right there, and then the point of control. So I'm always looking too to see how much space I have. You can see the cumulative volume here, this brownish outline. And so this is telling me that we had a high concentration of volume there. And so if we get back in that area, chances are we're going to get stuck again until maybe we break through the bottom side here where we don't have this high concentration of volume. So let me just speed this up a little bit. So now what I'm doing is I would be sitting here waiting, coming up to the point of control. I don't necessarily like to do anything around the point of control unless it kind of, like I have a previous area that I can count on. So right here, if I have sellers coming in down here, I would be willing to go ahead and try and short that. I know that I've got this area here that was holding, so I know I probably got enough room at least to get 3 or 4 or 5 points out of it. So I'm just sitting here needing to see some sellers coming in. You can see the concentration here of mostly green, right? So we're not really getting any sellers. If I'm going to short this, I need to see the break of this low value area here, and I need to see some red coming in. So there's our red, and I have this playing pretty fast now. But I would short that there. We had the red coming in as we were breaking that, and then the next area I would be looking for would be for a test of this area here to our left, and then if I can get through that, then I would be looking for, possibly a break of the low value area here. And of course I'm going to need to see sellers. So here you can see we have this high concentration of sellers right here at like 52, 50, 51.75. So I need to see some red coming in here. So you'd still be in the trade, and you're looking here, and you can see some red coming in, but you can see some green starting to come in here as well. So this would be giving me a heads up that, this might give me a little bit of a bounce here. So I can tighten my stop, or I can just ride it out and see what happens. As soon as you see some buyers coming in, again, you can take it off the table, tighten your stop, take a portion off the table. But if this bounces, it likely would bounce back up to this area here where we had this high concentration of volume, which was right at this first low value area. So we don't really know what it's going to do here. Is it going to bounce that big, or is it just taking a little bit of a pullback here and then going to try to go a little bit lower? So you can short the low value area here, and again you want to see the sellers coming in. So if you weren't in up here, you would be thinking, okay, well, this isn't really looking like it wants to go lower. I'm not seeing sellers step in under that area. So what I would be looking for is I would look to buy the bottom here when we don't get the sellers coming in. And again, here's where that stochastic comes in handy. I've got equal lows on price, while on my stochastic I have a higher low here than here. So that would give me a heads up that this is probably going to bounce. So I would be okay to buy off the bottom there, especially when I didn't see the sellers stepping up under this area here. You can see these red arrows right here, and this is the pivots. So on the downside, they're going to mark them red, and on the top side, they're going to mark them blue. And so now we're coming back up. Now, obviously, I missed this buy because I was just talking, but we could buy this again. So when we get to this area here on the low value area, what we're looking for is it's either going to hold and the sellers are going to step in, or price is going to break through it and the buyers are going to step in. So you can see right at that level here, at that 52, we had the buyers coming in. So that would be okay to buy that. And again, I'm always looking to the left. So I would look at this area here, and I would see that I've got this area of consolidation. So I would look at that as my area where I might have some difficulty getting through. And then if I can get through that, then I would be looking at the pivot point, excuse me, the point of control here. And then if it keeps going, then I would look for a move up to the high value area here. And that's what's called the coast to coast, where it's just going from one edge of the profile to the other edge, just back and forth. And you'll find those very often, like I said, in non-trending days. So right here, I'm just kind of, sitting on my hands. I don't really know what's going to happen here. Either it's going to trade back up to the high value area, or it's going to roll over. So like I said, I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for it to figure out what the heck it wants to do. And I'm looking like I might have some divergence here. If the stochastic rolls over here, this is probably going to roll over. And then what will happen is we can get stuck in this POC area, the point of control. So there's our divergence. So that would give me a heads up that we're probably going to roll over. Now, I wouldn't try to short that, but if I was at the top up here and I had divergence, or if I was at the top up here and I had divergence, I would short it. Or if I was right here and we had divergence to the downside, I would short it. So we're just kind of waiting here, seeing what it's going to do. And so we're bouncing off the point of control here. And this is kind of like the no trade zone almost, unless you have a clear-cut idea of where it's going to get to. And so this is holding, and it's not going lower, it's not going higher. So you have to know when to sit on your hands as well. And that's going to be different for everybody. So if this still holds, if this can come down to the point of control again and maybe hold, then maybe get some buyers come in, then you might be willing to buy it. But like I said, this is a no trade zone for me right at that point of control. So I'm going to just fast forward this a little bit. So I just sped it up a little bit. So now we want to see, do we get buyers or do we get sellers coming up here? So we've got this bar just started here. It's not really giving us a whole lot of information. So you can see it's positive delta, but it's getting smaller. So that's not what we want to see when we're looking to take a buy. Now, if it gets back up there and we still have sellers, then we can short off that area. So you can see I've got positive delta and it's getting bigger. So I'm not going to be looking to short that just yet. But what I would look to see up here is that, yeah, the delta's hopefully getting bigger if I'm going to buy it, smaller if I'm going to short it. But also what you could notice here is that we get this high concentration of volume right here at like the 63 level, and then a couple levels up, but then nothing steps, like no buyers come in above that. So that always going to make you a little bit suspicious. That's not what you want to see when you're looking to take a breakout trade, because that basically is telling you the buyers aren't stepping up there. If this was going to break out, you would see lots of green coming in up here, and we don't. So now if I see sellers here, I can take this short. So I'm looking to see here what's coming in. I've got not a whole lot of buyers coming in here. And over here on the more aggressive orders, not a whole lot of sellers. Now we're negative here. So as we're seeing the negative delta there and we're seeing the sellers come in, you can place a sell order up there. And a lot of times what you'll find is that you'll get a retest of those areas. So if you don't, if you didn't happen to get in, let's say here when it was rolling over and then it wasn't going lower or higher, but then you didn't see it break out above this area here, and now you get your retest here with sellers coming in, you can go ahead and place a sell order, because you know that the chances are good that if it can't go higher, that it's going to probably trade back at least to the point of control here. Also, what's nice about this, again, with my divergence, I love divergence. I've got divergence off that area. We've got a topping tail there. So again, the chances are good that this is going to not break out, at least not yet. So we have a lot of options on this. I'm going to just show you the different options of how you can look at the bid-ask histogram. Like I said, this is mine, what I like to look at. This is the just bid and ask. And you'll see that it will color different shades for the higher concentrations of volume. So that's the bid and the ask. Here's the bid-ask ladder and lots of options. This is the one I like, bid-ask histogram. For me, that's so easy to see. You know, at least I find it really easy to see. Then we've got the delta. You can just look at the delta as we talked about earlier. The delta is the difference between the buy orders and sell orders. Delta percentage, graduated volume, delta colored volume, high-low volume, volume histogram. And like I said, that's my favorite right there. That for me is the best. So now we're coming down to this area here of the previous level. So obviously if you shorted off there, you got to the point of control and now down to previous day's value area here in blue. So we don't really know what's going to happen here. Is it going to hold or is it going to bounce? So if it was going to break it, we would want to see a negative delta, or if it's positive, we want to see it getting smaller. But here's my concern on this one right here, is that we've got this high concentration of sellers right here at like this 56 area, but they didn't step in below that. So that would give me a heads up that chances are this probably isn't going to break down. It's probably going to bounce. And then of course, if you have divergence, but we don't, then you can, buy the bounce. So if you're looking to take a breakout, so here's another example of the breakout up here on this order flow chart. Notice how we get lots of buyers coming in, but they don't step up here. Same thing just happened here on the side. No concentration of a lot of sellers coming in there. Here, where we're at, coming at the top of our fair value area to our first high value area 1. We don't know what it's going to do there. So we need to see buyers. We don't see any buyers coming in up there to take that as a buy. And what I would be looking at is I would look to the left and I would see this is the area that held earlier here. I always double click that on Ninja. There we go. Held here, and now we're retesting that same area. So now if we break above that with buyers coming in, you could take a breakout trade, or you can watch for a failed attempt at this area of breaking out and take it as a rollover. And again, looking at this, I do have possibly some divergence right here. So this is telling me I'm probably not going to want to buy this. I'm probably going to want to short it. So I need to see some sellers coming in. So I got negative delta. Now it's positive, and it's constantly changing. So that's why this histogram for me is a lot easier to look at. Now, again, we're not seeing the buyers come in above this area here, so I'm really not wanting to do anything as a buy here. Now, this morning was really choppy, and glad to show you a day like that, because that's the day that most people have trouble with, that type of environment. So I've got some sellers coming in here. You can see there's a really low number here. And so I could go ahead and I can short this. I'm a little late in pointing it out, but I don't see the buyers coming in here. I'm seeing the sellers. And what I would be looking for is I'd be looking at these different volume areas, volume clusters here, where price has a lot of red or green, and those would likely be the areas that you're going to get stuck on. And so this is back down to the point of control here. And coming down to the previous day's level. And so if you didn't short up here because you were doing something else, if you see sellers coming in, you can short here, or you can short here. And you can see we've got the sellers coming in. We've got negative delta. So now we have to see, is it going to roll over here? We need to see some sellers. So we're still negative delta here. So we need to see some sellers stepping in under here. And so they're coming in. So that could be an area where you would short. Now you can see we're getting some buyers here, but now the sellers are coming back in again. This is still negative and getting bigger, so that's giving me hope that this is going to at least get me, 3 or 4, maybe 5 points probably. And a lot of times when we have a sideways or choppy market, we can tend to get stuck in these areas here of our high and low value areas. What I want to show you here is, I don't think I can move this chart over. Can I? Yes, I can. I wasn't sure with the in replay if I was going to be able to show you this, but you can see here our cumulative volume. So this is telling us that this is probably an area where we're going to get stuck. Now, if I was looking at this, I would be thinking, this, if we break the low of this bar here, this might be able to get us through this high volume area here, and maybe we can be sucked down to the next high volume area, which would be, this isn't really high in comparison, but this would be the next area where you'd likely expect to get stuck right here. And in looking at the order flow chart, there are lots of different options. You can, it's part of the software, you can plot the fib lines. Let me just open this up so you can see. So you have lots of options, and I have most of mine set to false, but you can show, you can actually show the market profile letters as well if you like. Like I said down here, I just have the delta and the volume and cumulative volume showing, but you can show the ask, the bid, the delta, maximum delta. There are lots of options to show down there. As mentioned earlier, I'm using the VWAP calculation, but you can use the TPO or volume. And I just find that better for me. And the beauty of it is that you can make it so you have the most comfort and ease with it. If I scrunch this up, you can see over here our volume. And this type of distribution day is really just telling us that, hey, there's a whole bunch of congestion and you're going to get stuck in most of these areas when price is trading back and forth. So the good thing is that obviously we can trade back and forth and just go from one value area to the other. And eventually, if we can get some movement, price would either, break out above the top side here and we wind up with a little bit more of a trending market, or to the downside and maybe we could get a trend going on. But as long as we're staying close to that yellow area, we're going to consolidate down here and likely trade back to the point of control and either roll over back down to this area or go higher and back up to our high value area here and roll over, or break out and then find our way up here. So that's what the trick is determining what is price going to do when it gets there, and the order flow is what's going to help you to do that. Exactly, equal distribution, the bell curve. So I just want to show you what Maria is going to offer you guys. And like I said, I am a fan of these tools, a big fan, obviously. So what comes with the package is divergence delta, market profile plus order flow chart, which you just saw, price action, and the VWAP chart. I made a typo there. VWAP market profile. And then she's going to give you bonuses worth of $1,500. I was going to say $150, $1,500. And it's MR lines and developing market profile. And the order flow tools come with 6 months free training. And it's not just, you're going to watch videos and learn how to use the tools. That was the reason why I went with Maria's tools, was because of the training. All the other tools for order flow and market profile that I had checked, and tried didn't really give the training that was necessary. So it was something that was foreign to me. So I needed all the help that I could get. And Maria's training room, she has it open Monday through Friday, and you get 6 months there free um, with the package. And it's open 4 a.m. Eastern to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. So she trades the London session as well, and she does pretty well pre-market. She'll trade the 6E, she'll trade CL. There are lots of things that she'll trade. And anybody who orders the tools by Friday at midnight, she's going to give $300 off, and she's going to give you free installation of the software as well. And also, in addition to these bonuses that I mentioned, she's going to give you chubby bars, and you have no idea what that is, but I'm going to show you. And if you're interested in the tools and taking advantage of this offer that Maria's offered, just send her an email, and her email is tradetheeminis@gmail.com, and her site is tradeorderflow.com. So let me just show you back to our charts here. I want to show you CL. So this is CL, and that's crude for you guys who aren't familiar. And these are the chubby bars. This is in replay as well, you guys. So when we have more buyers coming in, our bars are going to get fat green, and when we have more sellers coming in, they're going to get fat red. So here you can see, as we're getting toward the top of our high value area here, we're not getting any fat bars. We're not getting any fat green bars. This green dotted area right above me here is the point of control from the previous day, and you'll be surprised how often those areas hold. And then she's got this tools called the X box. You can see these blue X's here, and they are crazy accurate for marking support and resistance. They're based on higher time frames, and so if you're somebody who struggles with finding support and resistance, you'll find that really helpful because it's taking it from higher time frames. And so these chubby bars, like I said, they're going to get skinny when you don't have a whole lot of sellers coming in, fatter when you have more sellers coming in, and fat green when you have more buyers coming in. All right, so let's get some questions. I know Maria's been answering your questions via the keyboard. Maria, did you want your mic? Did you want to answer any questions via your mic, or are you good?
I just want to thank everybody for being here. I don't think it's working, my mic.
No, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So, so I wanted to say thanks to Tradingpub for sponsoring this event today, and thank everyone for attending today. And my big news of the day is automation is coming soon. That's it for me.
Maria's been working on getting order flow automated for a while now, and it looks like she's on the brink of success. So it's been
Hi, Rosie.
painstaking, and she's put a lot of time into it, but it looks like it's going to work out okay. It's just, like I said, it's taken her some time, but she's definitely put in the effort. And the same with the order flow and market profile stuff. You might have seen similar things or similar programs out there, but they're not. And even if you think they are, I would just urge you to see what kind of training you're going to get. There was somebody in Maria's room last week who has competitors' software, and he spent a lot more money. That's the other thing, is that you own your tools that you get from Maria. A lot of the other ones, you're paying a monthly lease that's pretty pricey, and you don't even own the tools. One in particular is a yearly lease, and it's really, really expensive, and you still don't get the training with it. And so this person spent a lot of money on the yearly lease, and he came to Maria for training because, you know, he's beside himself. He spent all this money and he has no idea how to use it or what to do. Now, I'm not going to say, you know, order flow is going to make you accurate 100% of the time. That's not possible. You know, it's unrealistic to expect that. And if you can't embrace the fact that you're going to have losers, then you need to move on. You need to not trade. The good thing about using the order flow is another good thing about using the order flow is that you can place your stops. Like, let's say that I took a buy and I wanted a pretty tight stop. I can see I have a couple options. I can see I had a big cluster of sellers here. I can see I had a high volume area here of sellers. I could go ahead and I can just place my stop maybe a couple ticks under that area there. And the same on the top side. If I was looking to excuse me, if I was looking to take a short, I would look to see where the buyers came in and I could place my stop just above the buyers. So it's really helpful to know where you have the higher concentration of buyers or sellers, and you know, not just for taking orders, but also or taking entries, but also for managing your entry once you're in. And I find it really helpful. So anybody have any questions? Rodney's saying Maria's room and tools are the best, hands down. Thanks, Andrew. Well, if there's something that I didn't make clear, I would love to point it out. One thing I didn't show you on this order flow here, let me find one here, is you can see we get these dots here. See this red dot? And so what that's telling me is I have some unfinished business there. You'll notice all the other bars, because remember these are red on a diagonal. So at the top here, you're going to notice on majority of these bars, it's zeroed out on the top left and zeroed out on the bottom right, because remember they're on a diagonal. So what this is telling me here with this dot is that this did not finish its business. So you can see it didn't zero out down here where that 17 is. So the chances are good that price is going to come back down and finish its business. And that isn't necessarily helpful when you have a strong trending market. I wouldn't rely on them too heavily. But when we have a pretty sideways market, or we don't have a strong runaway trend going on, the likelihood is that price is going to come down and retest those areas. And I find that really helpful. I know there's somebody in Maria's room that just trades those. I don't trade just those, but I watch for them because, like I said, the chances are good that price is going to come back and retest those areas. Okay, you guys, well, if no one has any questions, I think that I've probably showed you all I can do. Maria, do you have anything that you want to add? Also, what I do here is I put a timer in here just so I know when this 5-minute bar is getting ready to finish, this is going to zero out. I stopped the replay. That's why this isn't moving right now. I should have just left it playing. But this will tell me when my 5-minute bar is getting ready to change, because you know, you see, for example, a positive delta, let's say, and then all of a sudden the bar is getting ready to start out, you know, new bar is getting ready to start, you know, that can completely change. So I like to know when my bar is almost ready to complete. And like I said, I have lots of different options here. I choose to put the delta first so I can easily see it. You can just have the delta show. You don't have to have the volume or cumulative volume. Again, it's a preference, and it takes practice. That's what I started to say just a few minutes ago, is that, you know, I don't want you to think that as soon as you get order flow, everything's going to change. It takes practice, and it just takes getting used to seeing everything coming in. And like I said, you're not going to concentrate on each number here on each level. That's impossible, especially when price is coming in, excuse me, when the orders are coming in fast. You're just going to concentrate on, you know, if you're not going to choose the bid-ask histogram, you're still going to see the higher concentration areas, no matter which option you choose to look at on these order flow bars, and the delta as well. When it's getting red, 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 then you know you're on the right side if you're short, or you're going to take your short if you're getting into an area where you can take it. But like I said, I wanted to show you today because it was a choppy morning, and it's definitely more challenging environment to trade in that. And so I think seeing the order flow in that type of environment is helpful. The timer is just part of, it's just an indicator in Ninja. It is bar timer, Rodney. So it's just a standard indicator in Ninja. And then I can make this like that. So all I'm seeing is that. Well, wonderful. Well, I guess that does it for us, and we appreciate your time, and I hope that it was helpful. If for some reason I didn't make something clear, please send myself or Maria an email, and we'll be happy to give you a little bit more explanation. And don't forget that offer that Maria made expires on Saturday at, was it Saturday? Saturday or Friday, Maria? Let's see, the 20th, Friday. So that expires at midnight on Friday. And Maria also, when you get the tools, you get one or two, usually she does 2 boot camps a month where she requires you to do some homework and record a trade, whether in sim or in your live account, so she can actually see if you're grasping the concept or not. You know, it does nobody any good if you don't ask questions and learn. Um, if you just think that you're going to get the software, it's like, you know, buying an exercise video and expecting to have, you know, get in shape. You got to do the work. So you still got to put the time in to learn it. And that allows her to see what you're actually doing. And I found that really helpful because you go with other traders who are using the same tools and you can see how they're using it. Because there's so many ways to trade with this. You guys, you just can't even imagine. There's so many ways. And I'm just showing you a simple, simple way. All right, well, that's it. Our time is up, and I hope you all have a fabulous evening. And again, we really appreciate your time. Yana, it's all you.
All right there. Well, Trisha and Maria, thank you so much for the time that you took.